Hey guys, so the shed has finally made it down here. And I also did a thing where I cut the top of this tree down. This tree was hanging over this shaded perennial border right here, but it also got to the point where it started to shade this area as well. And I have some sun-loving plants over here. The hibiscus, 3 of them, evening rose that were growing here weren't doing so well because of that. So I want to cut one of the limbs that was hanging over further over here. And as you know, there's a lot of grapevine, wild grapevine. That's poison ivy, but there's a lot of, yeah, you see that straight one going straight across. There's a lot of wild grapevine in this area. There's quite a bit right there. So you cut one tree and it was just hanging there because of the wild grapevine. So then I had to cut another one, and then another one, and then another one. And I still, if you follow, I'm not going to get too far in the woods because stuff's starting to come out, like ticks and stuff, and I don't really want to get into any of that. So if you follow this wild grapevine, it was all the way intertwined with these trees over here. So I cut one down, then it got stuck, and then I had to cut another one, and I just said screw it, and I cut all of it. And so there's one line right there, and right parallel to it there's another grapevine right there. So that was just a big mess. So now honestly I'm not sure how much shade this perennial bed will get. If it doesn't get too much, that'll be fine, because I can change this into a sun-loving border, because I would love to have more sun areas in this garden anyways. And I think this area, which by the way I have cleared out this hill area. Honestly, I'm in love with this little hill. I don't know how much you can tell that this is a hill on camera, but it is a hill. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with this area. I would love to have a blue spruce sitting right on top of this little hill to be the backdrop for this border right here. I'm not sure how much sun this area is going to get though. I did come across all of this trash while clearing out this whole area. The bottles will be going to a friend who does crafts with bottles. I have an antique Pepsi bottle. I'm not sure what the green ones are, but I have found many of those on this property. I did find a couple of rocks, which I will be keeping for the garden. There's plenty of glass as well. I'm sorry to put the glass in this bucket. I also found this bucket, a couple soda cans. I do have this lovely shoe as well. And if you're new to the channel, I live on a wooded 1-acre property, and a good few parts of the property is covered in trash by the previous owner, and I do have a dream to turn this whole entire property into a garden, but I have to constantly deal with the trash, digging a lot of it out of the ground. And honestly, I think there's still some, I think it's linoleum flooring in this area. We're gonna go ahead and clean up this trash, and then maybe dig down a little bit further to get all that linoleum out, because I'm planning on continuing this path right here. I have some pavers, maybe continue the path so it goes around this hill on back through there, which hasn't been developed yet. But also I have discovered crane fly orchids in this area. Now it doesn't look the best because all this was covered up with a lot of leaf litter and just a bunch of trash as well and other stuff. I don't know. I just raked it up and tossed it back towards down that area. But so hopefully those orchids do come back. They are a perennial orchid, but they survive off the fungus that lives in this area. So when the fungus dies, those orchids do die. So you cannot remove them. My mom does have lady slipper orchids in her neighborhood, and she dug one up because she didn't know about how they survive with a certain fungus and it died. So hopefully I didn't disturb this area too much and it will thrive. But let's go ahead and clean up this trash. Maybe put my pavers down for this pathway, and I probably will clean out this lovely border here. I do have some hostas that are coming up. That one is Autumn Frost, and there's some bleeding hearts that are starting to poke through as well. So let's go ahead and get started. On a side note, this shed also is not leveled, which is another problem I have to deal with. I also will be painting it black and maybe growing a vine on it. Nothing set in stone because first I have to fix the problem with it not being leveled. And if you look right here, this is one of the vines, the grapevines that I was talking about. I actually had to grab it and wrap it around because I tried to pull it down, and you know, this vine right here is poison ivy, and a bunch of stuff just started falling out of the tree, and I may or may not be covered in poison ivy. I did go in and take a shower, so I'll see how that all turned out, but let's go ahead and get this trash up. So I'm just going to be throwing everything into the wheelbarrow. Plenty of glass in this pile. Old cans. Glass. I don't know what this is. That's metal. This is some of the flooring that's still in the ground. So I might try to go ahead and get that up. Old tile. Because a lot of what I think they did was when they renovated the house, a lot of the trash, they just threw it outside and buried it. I don't know what's the story about the pile of tires that I'm not going to get to until next winter probably. Because I don't really like going in the woods with snakes and ticks and stuff like that when they start coming out. Yeah, you can see there's something right here. Might have to, well, let's see. Yeah. Some of that. Let me move this rock. And I will be keeping this. I find this all over the property. I have one that's actually in that flower bed, the perennial shade one. So I will be putting that somewhere in the garden as well. I don't know how much is actually over here. Or how deep this stuff goes. Always something on this property. removing all of this before I try to get any more of that up. Tire. Little bottle. Always find plenty of clothes as well. And carpet. Extension cord. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rake and try to rake this other stuff out of the ground if there's any more there. More glass. So I went ahead and raked the area over. I tried to cover up the hole that this large rock had came out of and try to get all the trash out of the ground that I could. Pretty sure there's still some more in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and lay some pavers down for the pathway to swoop around this little hill over here. It will lead back into this area, even though this will not be developed as a garden anytime soon, maybe next year. I did have the idea to put my compost bins up against the shed once the shed got down here, but now I'm thinking I want a nice wooden shelf up against the shed so I can stack some terracotta pots and my clay pots on. I think that will look nice once the shed is leveled and painted black. So I'm going to do that instead, but maybe put the compost bins behind the shed in this area over here, which isn't developed yet, but that's just an idea. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and get these pavers down. I'm just gonna line these up with the other path. And the way that it looks like it would flow through here. So this is what it's going to look like for now. I might add a paver leading up to the shed where the shelf will be. This is all new planting space right here. When everything starts to leaf out, I will be able to determine if there's going to be enough sunlight for the blue spruce that will be setting on this hill right here. Hopefully there is. If not, I can add this as a new shade garden as well. So I'm still going to be planting this area. Not quite sure yet. I will place this rock somewhere in the garden. Maybe on the edge of this path right here. Not sure. But all new planting space. So I am happy about that. And hopefully I can get the shed leveled soon with some new paint and that shelf going. But let's go ahead and get started on cleaning up this shade bed. Just found a Lone Star tick on my hat, so I probably will not be going into the woods anymore. So now I will be having my hair under my hat, and I'm telling you guys a story about the Lone Star tick. The Lone Star tick is the tick that if you get bit by, you can no longer consume red meat. But it also does a lot of other things to you as well. My sister got bit by it 2 years ago. She's now honestly getting back to the point where she can have red meat. They say that you can't have red meat again, but usually it takes about 2 years, and most people, for the allergic reaction that the tick gives to you to subside, and you can begin to eat red meat again. So she realized when she was eating red meat that it was making her sick. She said that her body will get super hot and she'd break out in hives and just get really sick after always eating red meat. So she went to the doctor and found out that she got bit by the Lone Star tick. But not only did it make her allergic to red meat, it also made her allergic to dairy, so she couldn't have dairy either. And it also made it so she couldn't eat most foods because of the preservatives that's found in most foods that you buy at the store. So she couldn't eat a lot of stuff. If she wanted to eat bread, she would have to make it homemade. That's how bad that it messed her up. So she recently started being able to add red meat into her diet again. And I also know a girl that I work with, she said her mom got bit by it as well, and it took 2 years for her to be able to have red meat again. And my sister-in-law also got bit by the Lone Star tick, and I'm not sure if she added red meat back into her diet. I will have to ask her that, but she couldn't have red meat either, and I'm not sure what else it did to her. I just really know my sister's story because he talked about it. And I believe I've been bit by the Lone Star tick twice, but I haven't had any allergic reaction to it, thank God. I've always thought the Lone Star tick was actually a deer tick, but now I'm a little bit more cautious. I've been cautious about ticks anyways because my sister got Lyme disease from a tick. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't like to venture out into the woods. I like to do that in the winter time. And I also put on a lot of bug spray when I come out here. So I hope you guys be careful, with the whole tick situation because they can make you really sick. But I just wanted to let you guys know that story so you guys can, if you need to, pay a little bit more attention to that tick. It also made it so she couldn't have juice either. And she didn't even come to Thanksgiving dinner because she said a lot of the foods that she would smell would make her sick as well. So I'm really trying to be cautious about ticks as usual, but they're out and about, so try to keep my hair tied up and stuff from now on, because really don't want one of those getting in your hair, because it will take a while before you even find it, if you ever do find it in your hair. So let me get my bucket. My pot. Go ahead and slide that stuff in it. And I also found out I'm allergic to bees. I found that out last year too, so gotta watch out for bees this season as well. But this bed's starting to shape up a little bit better, so I'm probably going to dig up this wild onion that's in this bed as well. It is pretty much clean now, so I'm just gonna try to get up some of this wild onion and hopefully don't damage any hostas while I'm at it, because there is one coming up in this area. This clump over here. I just stick my shovel in and then pull up a little bit, and usually they come out. But you want to make sure you get all the little onions or they'll be back. And if I don't end up getting all of them, at least it won't be a large clump over here anymore. I'll just have to, maybe when they get a little bit bigger, come back and do the same thing again. It's a little easier when they get a little bit bigger. But I do have a hosta over here that I'm not trying to damage. So maybe I'll worry about these other little ones when they get a little bit bigger. So this flower bed has been completed. I have some Brunnera looking pretty good. I also noticed that I have some baby ones as well popping up right there along through here, so that's nice. Some Heaven Sent Jacob's Ladder. The largest hosta in this bed is actually right here. It's poking through a bit, but not much. A little bit wild onions right there, but I don't want to disturb that hosta. I have coral bells. I think that's cherry truffle. Quite a few hostas popping up. And that's one of the rocks I found on the property. I have quite a few of those big ones, and I just dug that one up over there the other day. I think I'm gonna put it right there. Bleeding hearts coming through. So everything looks pretty good. I probably will go over this fence again with another coat of paint. And actually, this fence was floorboards that we took out of the house when we renovated a bedroom, and I saved all the boards, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get my husband to make me a nice little picket fence for the garden. So that's what this actually is. And I'm excited for this new planting space. Hopefully I can put my blue spruce right on top of that hill. I didn't mention the plants that were already in this area, but this was wooded. So that's some liriope right here. I believe those are burning bushes. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. And then I have an eastern redbud right there, so I will be keeping that as well. Thank you guys for joining me on this project. Hope to see you again in the next one. Thanks. Bye.